What can Wizards of the Coast do to avoid sliding sales? The overall market health of Magic the Gathering seems to be doing fine, but the reception for sealed products like Murders at Karlov Manor are not turning out the way this company expected. I feel like no matter how hard I shake the Magic 8 ball and look down at it, it keeps giving me the same answer. Outcome, not good. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel. When we're talking about Magic the Gathering as a whole, I'm going to tell you it looks pretty healthy. To give you the short answer of everything, the overall game seems pretty healthy for the moment. But that doesn't mean it's healthy for Wizards of the Coast. That doesn't mean it's healthy for your local LGS. And allow me to explain this part a little bit more in length. With sets that came out or are coming out, like the Murders at Karlov Manor, depending on what side of the fence you fell on toward your feelings on that product. Some people like the Clue theme, but the majority of players, at least that I dealt with, did not look forward to it, thought it was kind of just a scheme that should have been almost like a summer set. They didn't like it. They wanted to just, bury it in the sand and never go back to it. That doesn't mean pre-releases weren't enjoyed, but it means the general outlook for the product was already kind of getting beaten up against the wall. It was being pounded, and any hype that was trying to be built up and some momentum going about the set, it just got pounded, man. It got brought to Pound Town, and it is done. So what does that mean for the set? Well, we know. We know that this set overall had very low to zero pre-sales in a lot of the open markets that I deal with. I know that for a fact, and the fact that it gets released on Friday is not likely to change in the next 24 to 48 hours. A whole bunch of players are going to, show up with tens of thousands of dollars ordering these products. Just doesn't seem feasible, does it? Now, the other good news though, LGSs are very wise and very conscious of what's going on. And they dramatically reduced their orders and their exposure to this product. It doesn't mean it's a good or a bad product. That's for everyone out there to decide. I myself love the cards in the set. I like the ideas in a lot of the parts of the set. I don't like the theme or the story really behind this set. It just doesn't do anything for me on a personal level. But stores were wise enough. They've learned from being burned enough times that they had to really lower their orders. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to see this thing on fire sale everywhere. Yes, it is being fire sold in certain market spaces, and every market is different across the land, depending on what part of the country you're in. Canada, US, overseas, UK, the Philippines, China, Japan, I don't care, wherever you are. It is going to be a different market, and the card game gets interacted with differently there. Stores order different amounts. But where I'm dealing in, US, Canada, a couple other places and smatterings in the world that give me information, stores ordered a lot less, but they sold even less than they anticipated from the lowered orders. It's abysmal. Not things like the pre-release. Those went off very well, although only about 30% of those pre-releases actually sold out. And there's lots of spare kits available at all kinds of stores now. Part of that is because the price went up a little bit and it affected how players, decided to play or not play in a pre-release. But the second part of that is the fact that when you look at what the products were offering and what players had to pay, some people said I might as well just save up for a collector box. Collector boxes didn't do horrible, but they didn't do well either. I know stores that only ordered 6 boxes and sold 1. Or, in a couple of stores' cases, only sold a couple of packs. Pretty bad, guys, okay? Now, when it comes to the play booster, and yes, you've got to bring this up because this is a direct correlation to how players are going to engage in this game in the future. Wizards' experiment of adding set and draft boosters together, and this is the final path they're taking for now, it's not going so well. A couple of boxes sold here and there, but the sales are so low, I'm not even going to mention the numbers. It's just bad. Now, the flip side is stores knew this. They knew when the orders were bad. They're just lower than they expected, but with the exposure low, they're not being hurt, okay? No stores in desperation. The single side of things is still quite healthy, and that's where a lot of players are deciding to engage. But here's the thing. Because the stores aren't opening a lot, Wizards isn't making a lot of money because distribution didn't order as much, did they? That means they're going to have to take a smaller cut of the pie. Does that mean it's going to stand that way? Probably not. Wizards will find different ways in the near future of rectifying this lack of revenue, or at least they're going to try. But the slipping sales is something they're going to have to address. And the fact that serialized cards, alternate art form cards, crazy stuff that they've been trying has limited success and then seems to draw back, right? Which means, let's say you get a cool serialized card. You get 100 of 100 and it's going for $1,500. That's what you're trying to sell it for, because that's what you're seeing on the open market right now. And then you look back 6 months from now and it's only $400 or $500. The market hasn't really decided where serialized cards fall, so Wizards of the Coast can't really depend on those to guarantee revenue. Their inconsistencies in how they are serializing cards, $250 for this one, $500 for this one, has led to players kind of going, meh, don't care. If I get one, I'm selling it right away to try to make back some of my money. And the odd collector who really wants them and wants to keep them is still not willing to pay top dollar. Yes, there are sales though. There's always going to be a niche market for some of this stuff. It's just not going to be a driving factor to have players open more boxes at higher price points, which is again why sales are slipping. Wizards of the Coast has a built-in fan base of richer players with deeper pockets that can afford the big boxes. They can afford to open collector boxes. They can afford to open as many play booster boxes as they want. They don't, but they can. There's that built-in market. But for the average players who used to buy a lot of boxes in 2021 and 2022, that part of the market, that segment that was growing, has totally disappeared from the market space we're dealing in. They're just not buying boxes anymore. And it's not that they're sitting on the sidelines. They've just evolved into buying singles. That's where that player base has gone. And as much as Wizards wants to have standard come to the forefront, it's going to take time for that market space to build back up. That's a lot of Friday night drafts. That's a lot of things that, again, that Wizards is dependent on LGSs, which they're not truly supporting. It's a weird kind of relationship that you'll see with these types of big companies dealing with the little guys, the LGSs that they have to kind of go through still for a lot of their bread and butter, but they're not willing to give some crumbs to the LGS in quantity to help them pay off some of the bills. It's weird. So when I look at what's been going on in the market space and these slipping sales, and I'm talking even, by the way, secondary boxes. We're talking Commander Masters, Double Masters, things like Khans of Tarkir. A lot of these boxes may sell the odd one, but the market has gone so quiet on sealed product that you feel like you're in some old Western where nobody's talking. And the two dueling guys are like staring each other down, wondering who's going to try to draw first. Because nothing's happening and the air is quiet, waiting in anticipation of, will Wizards of the Coast give us another type of like fire sale of all kinds of boxes? They're going to light the boxes on fire and put them on the curb. They're going to end up in a landfill. Some kind of special super drop prize. Who knows? But there's a whole segment of players waiting to see how Wizards of the Coast will choose to react. And this is where the company finds itself after a whole slew of bad decisions. Inconsistencies in company performance, in how they view their customer base. We are not the guinea pigs for everything they want us to be. Players kind of make up their minds now pretty quickly. And when they make up their mind, they just turn their backs on a product and say, we're done. Now, that doesn't mean you won't have some success with other products, but it means the ones that are kind of on the fence are more likely to fail, where a more, I hate to say it, guys, when they stick to fantasy end topics and they go with a good story, they do well, okay? They do well. Bloomborough, I'm excited about, and so are most people I talk about. Modern Horizons 3 looks like it's going to be a good set without seeing anything. People just have this feeling. You don't get that feeling looking at a set like Mirza Karlov Manor, remastered Ravnica for the 10th time. It doesn't draw people in. Something like Double Feature had a great labeling to it and had potential that they messed up. Same with D&D. Some of these sets, they messed up, it's their fault. Other ones just don't have the caring. They don't carry themselves well as soon as you even hear about them, and that's the problem. They're missing their mark with some of the consumers. And that's going to cause more sales slippage from the company. And they're going to try to wiggle like a worm and figure a way out. If I could run that company for a day, I'd be like, okay, man, you got to get your prices in check. You got to get consistency that every player out there going forward will understand. And they just don't do it. They're treating us like little guinea pigs in a maze, and they're making us try all kinds of things to see how we react and which one's most favorable for us to get to our food pellets. I hate it. It happens. Sometimes it's interesting, but more often it's just annoying and people ignore it. And that's where a lot of players are at right now. Either way, sales slippage is not going to stop anytime soon. There'll be highlights, but it looks like Wizards, to me, for the sales side of sealed products, is probably in for a bumpy year. There'll be some successes, but I think even Outlaw Junction, there'll be a few. If they don't put together some good cards with a good story and an overarching good story that carries on into multiple sets, they're going to be in trouble. It's not going to play well. You guys let me know what you think. Slam some comments down in the comment section. Put some stuff out there, because nothing we're going to talk about is going to save the company's lagging sales in the secondary market stuff. The singles, I think they'll turn quicker to things like secret layers and try to pump up value there. If they go too low, they'll put some really wicked super drops together, like Shoulder of the Apocalypse style things, Ragavan. They've got some IP they can use. They've got a few bits of ammo in the chamber that they can pump out if they need to. I think they don't want to, but they may be forced to. You guys let me know what you think in the comments section. Join the conversation here on the channel. And by the way, if you made it to the end here and you want to see more Moxman, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell. New videos every day. Looking forward to talking with you guys. And of course, you can always drop me an email at lang@hotmail.com. You can find it in the description of all my films. As well as if you want to join my Patreon or you want to join the YouTube membership member, go ahead. There might be a spot or two on Patreon. I think it's full again, but you can always hit me up on YouTube membership member as well. Okay, guys, thanks again for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video. Don't forget, always bring a friend to Magic. A shout out, a thank you for the amazing people that support this channel. To my patrons, to my YouTube membership members, because of these loyal fans, we've got daily uploaded content. Thanks again for supporting the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. Don't worry, the coffee cup. Oh, I don't want to spill. I don't want to spill. You can see it's pretty full. Hold on. There you go. We got coffee. We're here. Okay. Guys, you're here at the end of the video. You've made it this far. The sales are worse than I expected. Even after I knew they were bad. I have several stores that didn't sell anything. Pre-release, fine. Collector boxes and the new Play Booster box, no sales. Singles, desired. Individual single cards are being sought after, but a lot of people seem to be waiting to see how this market settles out even for singles. They said when they saw cards like the Mole God going, these are just offhanded comments, the Mole God going down, they think it's going to settle at like $5-6. They're not willing to spend $20-30. There's a lot of craziness going on right now that I find very fascinating to see how it's going to play out in the open market. Players want the singles, but they also want a deal on the singles. They think they have further to fall. I don't know how the tighter print runs will really play into things if players still aren't buying the boxes. You won't feel the pressure on anything. Singles probably will at some point, but that's going to be time. Time. Guys, it's not where I thought it was going to be. I mean, I assume prices are going to rise when, at least on individual cards, when the pressure kind of gets ratcheted up, right? But what happens if players really just want to sit on the sidelines and not react right now? I don't know how that's going to affect things. I know there's a lot of single sales going on, but I know from the local side of things, players who don't order on TCG Player, who don't go places other than local or in a fair-sized city, that they're just sitting there, thinking about buying, reminiscing about what they used to buy, but not buying anything. But now, if you're here at the end, reserve list, selling better than expected. Now, that is not from the local LGS level, okay? The stores I deal with, they're getting pretty low on any inventory. It seems to be happening on things like TCG Player, eBay, Facebook groups, where they're having odd sales on cards like Legends, The Dark, even some Fallen Empire stuff. as well as Weatherlight, Stronghold. Oh, Mox Diamond is going to make that top 10 again. It is crazy to see. Oh, Wheel of Fortune is probably going to make it too, because a person bought 10. So that will be interesting. They sent me the photos with the 10 they bought. All near mint. All near mint. I know. They paid a pretty penny. But they said, you know what? I think it has legs. I think it has places to go in the future. I'm willing to wait 10 years to find out. I'm young enough I can do it. So just reserve list seems good. Singles market's doing well. Sealed boxes are doing bad. It's bad. I'll see you guys tomorrow.